I am going to show you how to make chicken and yellow rice from scratch. It is very easy and I'm going to show you how to do this. As always, the ingredients, the full recipe will be in the description box as well as your grocery list. So just keep watching. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. The first thing I want you to do is prep your chicken. You want to use dark meat for this recipe, so I chose chicken legs. Mostly when people make chicken and rice, they are using chicken legs. So if you are someone who does not like dark meat, I think that if you try this recipe, you might change your mind. So what you're going to do is make a couple slits on all of the chicken legs, and that's just to bring in more flavors because this is going to actually be cooked in the oven. And it's going to be cooked for quite a while, and it's going to make it really tender. So while it's in the oven, you're going to make some slits to bring in all of the rest of the flavors. So you want to keep the skin on, and you do want to make the slits. You want to try to get around the skin, but you do not want to pull the skin off. So after you get done making the slits, what you're going to do next is you are going to season it. Again, the recipe, the ingredients, and the measurements is in the description box below. So the first thing we're going to take is going to be 1 teaspoon of white pepper. So next we are going to add the star of the show, which is going to be turmeric. You want to add about a half a tablespoon to 1 tablespoon of turmeric. I say about a half a tablespoon if you're doing a small amount like me, but if you're doing a large amount, that's like a dozen, like 8 to like a 12 pieces, you want to do a whole tablespoon. But this is very powerful, so please do not overpower the seasonings. So after you get the turmeric in, what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of a paprika. I'm using smoked paprika. If you have just a regular paprika, that's fine. You're going to use 1 teaspoon of that. Next, you are going to add about a half a tablespoon of cumin. Right here, I have Mexican cumin. If you have regular cumin, that is just fine. Please use what you have, but I like to use Mexican cumin. It has more spices in it. Next, you are just going to mix that together. Please do not over season your chicken, and please keep in mind I did not use salt. This is not the dish that you want to use salt in, and I'll tell you why further in the video. So after you get it mixed up, it is time to actually start cooking. So you are going to brown each chicken leg on all sides. You do not want to cook it all the way through. It should not be cooked. You just want a brown, like a crust on all sides of it. You are simply going to lay the chicken in a cast iron pan. If you do not have a cast iron, try to use a saute pan. It develops a better crust. But if you have cast iron, please use cast iron to get the full effect of what I just made. So next, what you're going to do, you should take about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you're going to flip it, and you should see a crust just like this. You do not have to worry, again, about cooking it all the way through because it is not meant to be cooked through. So after you flip it for the first time, you're going to allow the other sides to brown. So after you allow the other side to brown, you're going to cook it again for about 2 minutes. I'm going to remind you again for the third time not to cook the chicken all the way through because we are going to finish this in a 400-degree oven for 40 minutes. So next, what you're going to do is you're going to remove the chicken from the pan. It is as simple as that, but do not rinse the pan out. If you want to drain some of the oil out, if you feel like it's too much oil in it, go ahead and drain it out. But for the most part, when you actually put the chicken in the pan, you should have only did about 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. It does not need a lot of oil. Next, what you're going to do when you take the chicken out is you're going to add 1 cup of white wine. When you add the wine is going to deglaze the pan, and then you're going to add 2 cups of washed long grain rice. So the rice that not normally, but the rice that is like a basic recipe is basmati rice. That's a good rice to use because it's long grain, but you can use any long grain rice that you want. Before you add the rice, you are going to take a bowl and you're going to add your 2 cups of rice. You're going to wash that until that water turns clear. A lot of people like to argue that it is a lot of debris in rice. It is the same argument with chicken when people say you're not supposed to rinse it. They are absolutely correct. You are not supposed to rinse it. You are supposed to wash it in lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. I am a professional chef, but who am I to tell anybody how to correctly do something in the kitchen? So now we are going to add 3 cups of chicken broth. This is where the salt comes from. And when you're making rice, the ratio is 1 cup of rice plus 2 cups of water. We replace the water with chicken broth. So next we're going to change this rice into yellow rice by adding 2 tablespoons of chicken bouillon powder. We're also going to add 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. The dried herb will get rehydrated with the liquids. And what you want to do is you want to mix that up just a little bit to get everything dissolved. So this is going to get finished in the oven. So what you want to do is dissolve all of the seasonings and get the herbs in there before you put it in. This is not a just set it and forget it meal. You actually want to get it dissolved before you put it in the oven. So now we're going to add the coloring, which is going to be the turmeric. You're going to add about a half a tablespoon of turmeric, and again, the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to slowly mix that in and get it all dissolved. And this is your yellow rice. So you do not want to cook this the same way you do not want to cook the chicken, because again, this is going to be in a 400-degree oven for 40 minutes. So the chicken is going to be very tender, and you do not want to overcook this rice. There's no way it can get undercooked, but you do not want to overcook it. So you're just going to let it cook for about 5 minutes just to get it started. Then you're going to add the chicken legs back into that pan. So what you're going to do is you're going to place them in here, give them just a little bit of room, but it's crucial to make sure that the rice is under the liquids. Again, it's going to be cooking for about 40 minutes, so you do not want pieces of the rice sitting on top of the chicken or just sitting out, because it will burn. So if you do get the chicken laid on top of the rice and the rice is at the bottom on the first try, you are very lucky. That has never happened to me, and I've done this plenty of times. But if that does happen, just go ahead like I'm doing here and just move it around. And again, please make sure that the rice is under the liquid. So next, what you're going to do is you are going to turn the eye off, of course, and then you are going to cover this. So once you cover this, you can use a top or you can use aluminum foil, and you're going to bake it at 400 degrees for 40 minutes. After that, as soon as it comes out, you do not want to open that top or you will give yourself a facial. So you're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes before you actually serve it. After you let that cool for about 5 minutes, it is still going to be steaming hot. It's just going to let the steam die down just a little bit. So it should look just like this. And now we are about to garnish it, but I'm just going to show you how there's no extra liquid left in the pan. And if it looks like this, you have just cooked it perfectly. The only way you can overcook the rice is if you add too much water or chicken broth. So we are going to garnish it with more dried parsley. This is a very hot meal, and it's a steamy meal, so that parsley is going to get rehydrated again with the steam. And again, I like to serve mine straight from the pan. And if you put this in another serving dish, you want to put it in the serving dish and then put the garnish on top. So it should look just like this. Now you can just go ahead and make your individual plates and then serve it. You basically get about 2 scoops of rice per 1 chicken leg, but when you scoop the chicken out, you'll be scooping the rice too. So let me know how you guys like this recipe, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.